to the original point of this, for someone starting out, you definitely don't need to spend that kind of money. I think the more important thing to do is for a younger technician.
You're not a big, huge Harbor Freight fan.
No, sir.
So okay. Have you seen their Icon line?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Have you used it?
I have borrowed some. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you recommend to a guy listening to our podcast right here, right now, getting into the industry, not really sure whether he wants to do it or not? Should he go onto that nice, beautiful Snap-on truck and take out a loan?
No.
Or should he lean more like, I should try to find someone from Sears and Harbor Freight to see if I like this career as a mechanic?
Oh, absolutely take the easy way out. Get your Harbor Freight Icon, but also know that you're investing in yourself, and the likelihood that you continue on this path is very dependent on the amount of success you have in the field. So if you cheap out and buy cheap tools, you buy a cheap Harbor Freight socket set that, a cheap ratchet that doesn't have a good swing angle, or you buy a short-handled ratchet and you end up busting your knuckles a lot, you're going to get frustrated more. You're not going to make as much money because we get paid by the flag hour. If the water pump pays 7 hours and you get it done in 10 hours, you lost money. So the right tools make the jobs go better, and they make you say less swear words, which means you have a higher likelihood of succeeding in the field. The guys that I see that don't make it are the guys who don't invest in themselves. And that doesn't mean that you have to get on the Snap-on truck and dump 10 grand into sets of tools. But it does make the difference between someone who wants to stick around long time and someone who might not stick around because they're not having any success. I think tools that are good for your body, a long-handled ratchet, comfortable wrenches, nice swivels and locking extensions, nice air tools, where I guess everything's electric now.
Do you like electric?
I have some electric tools. I really prefer air tools, but it's just because that's what was around when I started wrenching, and I invested in those. I have an electric ratchet that I love, and I have an electric 1/4-inch drive impact driver.
Milwaukee?
It's Snap-on, but only because I bought that Snap-on battery set for another tool. And then, once you're in with the battery, you got to keep going.
Yeah, dude, whether you're DeWalt or Milwaukee or Makita, you have the battery, you're buying that tool.
Oh, absolutely. And I've got DeWalt as well. I have a DeWalt impact driver that's like my medium-duty impact that I use most of the days.
I found. Sorry for changing subject. I found an adapter that'll actually go onto the Harbor Freight electric tools that you can use Milwaukee batteries on.
I've seen a lot of battery systems that you can use a Milwaukee and a DeWalt. You can use a Makita and a Hilti. I think that. I'm not sure if you spend a lot of money on your tools, you might not want to trust that.
Right.
But as long as they're not under warranty. If they're under warranty, run whatever. But I think that's really a game changer, because I do like certain tool manufacturers' implements, and you kind of want to be able to pick and choose. I really don't like Milwaukee's electric ratchets, but I do. You can't argue with their impacts. They're incredible.
Yeah.
Their impact drivers are the industry standard. They're selling them on the Matco trucks now. So if that tells you anything,
Do you have one over the other, Matco, Mac, Snap-on, and any of the tool trucks fancy your favor?
I do have, the majority of my tools are Snap-on, but there's a couple reasons of that. One, I was indoctrinated into it because my father was a Snap-on guy, and so I thought when I became a professional technician, professionals use Snap-on. There's that side of it, and there's also the side of the consistency, right? The Snap-on guy shows up every week. He's there to take your warranties. He's there to rebuild your ratchet. He's there to take care of whatever you need.
Yeah.
From my experience and from what I hear from a lot of other techs, the Mac guy especially is the least reliable. Sorry, my Mac guy is great. Love Kyle Jones. You're great. Show up all the time. Thank you for that. But I have had Mac. I traded in a set of Mac wrenches because when I moved to Texas, I didn't have a Mac guy. There was one guy who would show up very sparingly, and I was like, well, if I break one of these, am I going to be dead in the water? So I traded him in.
Who took him? The
Snap-on guy. Oh yeah, and he gave me a pretty good deal on him. And the Snap-on trucks usually have really great used tools.
Oh, why was that so cold?
We're outside.
And this, yeah.
I don't even know where we're at. Where are we? What's the name of the city?
Oh man, I couldn't pronounce it if I knew.
Makalako, Hikalako.
It's one of those, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Snap-on guy usually has used tools too, because everyone's trading their stuff in for the Snap-on stuff, so you can usually get a good deal. I bought a lot of my stuff used.
No.
The tool guys will usually have a drawer of used things they took in on trade.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I
don't know if you're like visiting pawn shops or something.
Oh yeah. Pawn shops are tricky now because those guys now know what they have, and then they're trying to hold on to it for top dollar. But I bought my Snap-on Impact from the Matco guy because somebody had the Matco guy rebuild it, or the Matco guy sent it in and then he just disappeared. And so the Matco guy only wanted $80 for the Impact. He's like, just whatever I paid to get it rebuilt.
There you go.
There you go.
Cash money.
But yeah, I have a great Matco rep. I think Matco has some really innovative tools, especially recently. I think they've been really stepping up their game. Mac has kind of leaned into the Stanley Irwin realm, where a lot of the same stuff you get on the Mac truck is very similar to what you get at Home Depot, which is great. I call it prosumer tools, like the guy who uses it a lot, but he's not a professional, still consumer grade tool. And they have some wonderful stuff too. I have a lot of Mac tools, but our Matco rep is great. He's always showing us the newest and greatest thing they have, and the thing to save your knuckles, the thing to save your lunch.
There is a difference. I mean, when I was turning wrenches every single day to make my livelihood, there was a difference in that, $120, whatever, $200 3/8 ratchet compared to the one you bought from Home Depot.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a difference, dude. And
you feel it.
And if you're working with them every single day, day in and day out, you will notice.
Well, here's the other thing too. So
like fit and finish.
Absolutely, and the ability to do the job easier. When I started out, I had a Craftsman. I still have the same Craftsman socket set I've had since I was 15. I love that socket set. I'm not going to trade that in for a Snap-on. It works perfectly fine. But I had Craftsman wrenches and Craftsman ratchets, and you're going to break them if you're using them every day. It's just going to wear out, and the time it takes to leave work a little early so you can get to the Sears, and then you got to deal with the employee who says, well, I'm not going to really warranty this, blah, blah. Or that model isn't produced anymore, so you got to get a different model. That's kind of an impedance if you're trying to make your money with your tools, where the benefit of the Snap-on guy is he's going to show up every Wednesday, he's going to take your ratchet in, you're going to get it rebuilt there on the truck, or if he can't rebuild it, he's just going to replace it for free. So, but to the original point of this, for someone starting out, you definitely don't need to spend that kind of money. I think the more important thing to do is for a younger technician to figure out what direction they're going to specialize in and invest in that. Are you going to be a front end guy? Are you going to be a lube tech for a while? How long are you going to be a lube tech? All right, if you plan to be a lube tech for 3 years, buy the nice filter set, buy the nice ratchet, buy the nice wrenches. Don't get a scan tool. Don't get you don't need a ball joint press. And you certainly don't need a Snap-on ball joint press. If you're going to be a front end guy, yeah, go get the nice Snap-on ball joint press and make light work of that, because you're going to make your money back.
Right.
But don't just go in and don't buy a toolbox. That's the worst thing you can do first. Is you buy a $8,000 toolbox, you got nothing to put it in, you're making $100 a week payments on it.
$800. Then the guy comes and takes it back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're done. You're finished.